therapies and therapists and coaches and, because we need them. There is a huge economy built around sickness and staying sick and staying diseased.
Why are we here? What's the purpose to life? A society that doesn't want you to be everything that you can be. Why? Because you are easy to control. And we forget how powerful that breath is. We forget the connection of breathing, the connection that it does. Even as I'm breathing now, I'm getting goosebumps because this is how powerful just the breath itself is.
By pushing everything under the carpet, people think they can go on with their lives. It's like, I think it's really important to emphasize the fact that if you don't do deep work, because we're in the 21st century, generations after generations, you have things and your parents and grandparents, which humans have been pushing under the carpet, and there are all these little things you forgot about, but they are kind of like sitting inside of you, disconnecting you from your real self if we don't do deep work. And it's not like a one day thing. I think that's kind of like very important to understand. It's not like a simple breathing exercise or simple, mindfulness exercise won't get you there. We need deeper work. And that's why I hear many people also say, like, there are all these, therapies and therapists and coaches and, because we need them. Because, there has been, like, there is a huge, and what you also said about that is true, like everything on the outside world, there is a huge economy built around sickness and staying sick and staying diseased. It's like there is a huge economy that is introducing us to, methods and things that can just, help us feel good on the surface. And that is serving, sickness actually, because if I have neck pain and shoulder pain each and every day, and if I live on painkillers, there's a great economy around that. Like if I'm just one person who's taking painkillers every day, and then the second person, third person, hundreds, thousands of people with neck pain and shoulder pain, getting painkillers, you wouldn't actually want them to heal because there is a huge economy. So that's also another fact. And maybe because that's so common, people do not understand what real healing is. And from there, I'm going to come to breathwork, because you're also using breathwork. And I myself have been searching for and, researching on breathwork and meditation and searching for different tools. And I have found that breathwork is the most powerful healing method or self-connection method that is available right now in the market or in the world. And you're also using breathwork. And from there on, I'm going to, come to the fact that breathwork does help us do some really deep work. It's not on the surface, because breath is something that has a deep truth. And when you start practicing daily breathwork, when you just take a few minutes a day just to sit down and connect with your breathing, it leads you to somewhere, some deep, deep stuff, which truly leads to healing.
Yeah. It leads to greatness. It leads to the truth as to why we're here. And one of the things that I've discovered is, the journey of life. People always, and I often ask this question: why are we here? What's the purpose to life? In the darkest times for me, I was addicted to drugs, to alcohol, to sex, to food. I was addicted to everything I could get my hands on. I tried to commit suicide. I've had overdoses. And I always ask that question. I remember saying to myself, why am I here? And slowly I began to find the answers when I began this healing journey and continued. Like yourself, I'm a student of life. I'm a student of breathwork. I'm a student in everything that I do. I'm so passionate and so caring around this stuff, because I realized the power that's within. You touched on about people, having to take medication and it becomes another addiction. And all of these things are self-medication to keep you numb, dumb, and sick. And all you are doing is you are adding to a society that doesn't want you to be everything that you can be. Why? Because you are easy to control. If you are fearful, if you are sick, you are easy to control and manipulate. And unfortunately, and this is the sad truth, and we continue to see this over and over and over again. And not to say that there aren't some medicines out there that do good work, because there are. But the thing is, and when you come to realize how powerful your mind, body, and spirit is, you will never ever have to touch another drug again. And this has been my personal experiences. This has been the experiences of many of the people that I have worked with and continue to work with, just using that simple tool as your breath. What's the first thing you do when you were born, when your child is born, when a woman gives birth? What's the first thing that child does? Is it takes that massive gasp of air. What's the last thing we do when we pass on to that spiritual life? We stop breathing, and we forget how powerful that breath is. We forget the connection of breathing, the connection that it does. Even as I'm breathing now, I'm getting goosebumps, because this is how powerful just the breath itself is. And this is not even, we're not even going into when you're starting to go deep within. And this is something that people are most scared of, which even me, I was petrified when I first started doing this, in going deep within. Oh, what does that mean? And I used to hear the terminology going into the shadow. And I'm like, I don't want to go into no shadow. What is this stuff? This freaks me out. And I used to think it was hippie stuff. I used to think this was fairy tale. This is never going to work. And I got humbled and humbled and humbled and humbled. And I've eaten many humble pies over the years. But the one thing I am so thankful and so grateful for is discovering this journey, because I went from that man that didn't believe in this, thought this was all airy fairy, to now living this every single day. It's a lifestyle choice for me. It's not I'll do it today because I'm not feeling too good, but when I feel okay, I put it down. Absolutely not. Just before we started, I do my breathing. Just this morning, I have a space in my house that we converted into a ceremony and a breathwork room. I go in there every single morning without fail, and I will go and breathe 20 minutes. If anything that I need to do, that I need to center and not connect with the fear and ego, so I can raise my energy and be everything that I can be in confidence, in love, that's what I do.